And good afternoon, and I will say good morning, good evening, wherever you may be around the globe. And a lot of you may be wondering as to how um, a young man like me, sitting in for Elle the Lion, yeah, the Lion Queen. Yeah, she's on vacation, and I'm sitting in for her. And I would like to thank her for the exceptional job that she did um, over the weekend. We'll come to that. And this is Voices of the Millennials coming your way from Love Be Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. Some people may be watching us live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and on Facebook on Love Be Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. And to those of you who are listening to us around the globe, so many countries listening to us right now, hooked up right now. We have a very special show for you. Normally, I'll be behind the scenes, producing the program. We miss Elle so much. Elle, wherever you may be, have fun. Have fun. You deserve it. Deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. And I would also like to thank you for what you did this past Saturday. We'll come to that. Today, we are going to be talking about millennials. And when we talk about millennials, it translates into generation. So when we talk about voices of the millennials, it's voices of a generation. And in today's world, each generation is trying, or maybe trying, to leave a legacy to those of us like myself, our legacy. We are going to leave a legacy. And the Gen Zs are going to leave their legacies as well. Millennials are going to leave their legacies. But having said that, Elle, when she started her program, this very program, she came up with a definition in terms of what millennials are all about. And then to share with you, somebody asked, who is the voice of the millennial generation? Lena Dunham has been coined as the voice of the millennial. Yes? And what is the voice of the millennial, or voice of the generation? Simple. By having the voice of a generation, a character that speaks in the name of a group that can speak, or a group, usually a music band, which I'm part of, that can talk about themes untouched by the representatives in terms of their reality, or what the character claims to be. And how are millennials described? Millennials have been described as the first global generation and the first generation that grew up in the internet age. And some of us didn't. Some of us didn't. We had to calculate things. We had to think of how to do certain things. I quite remember growing up and living in Canada. The internet wasn't there. And you always wanted news from home, whether you were from the Caribbean, or whether you're from Africa, or whether you're from Europe, Asia, Antarctica, what have you. Back in the day, if somebody is coming, you hear that somebody is leaving your home country to where you live, you were always waiting for news from home. But today, what do we see? Before the person even leaves, you know what is happening there, and they don't even know what is happening around them. So when we talk about millennials have been described as the first global generation and the first generation that grew up in the internet age. And the generation is generally marked by elevated usage of and familiarity with the internet, mobile devices, and social media, which is why they are sometimes termed digital natives. So millennials could also be termed as digital natives. And folks, this is where we are right now. Somebody texted and asked whether millennials are the silent generation. See, first things first, the silent generation includes anyone born from 1928 to 1945. I'm way away from there. The term millennial, essentially, the grandchildren of the silent generation, includes anyone who was born between 1981 and 1986. Yes? And somebody also asked, what are the 5 characteristics of millennials? They are, 1, they are technologically natives. They are digital natives, as we said before. They crave work-life balance. They expect collaboration. They require a seat at the table. They want to keep on learning. Their loyalty is fickle. Remote work now, the norm. Transparency expected. Yes, those are some of the traits of millennials. And that is a brief diatribe about what millennials is all about. My name is DJ TYB, and I'm sitting in for Elle, the Lion Queen. And today, we are going to recap what happened last Saturday, and to give you a synopsis of what we have come as a radio station. We are an online radio station based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We focus on Africa, the Caribbean, and the diaspora, where we focus on our religion, our music, our traditions, our cultures, our cuisines, what have you, inventions, and all type of programming that we use this radio station as a platform to entertain and educate. When this station was formed about 4 years ago, we were going through so many different tenets of getting the right programming that would educate our community. So we came up with Voices of the Millennials to target the millennial generation, if I can put it that way. So last year, the host of the program, Prince, wherever you are, thank you, bro. Yes, and he came up with the idea of hosting a Millennial Youth Summit. So we took him up on it, prepared profusely, and it came up the Voices of the Millennials Youth Summit. That was last year, the year of our Lord 2022. And at that event, through our corporate responsibility, as I can put it that way, we solicited funds from corporate sources and individual sources to come up with a scheme to help financial assistance, to our young men and women who have dedicated themselves to educate, to bring themselves up, educationally speaking. Those who are going to university and colleges, we tried as much as possible to award for scholarships. That was last year. And this year, we continue the same thing. Last year was a success, a very great success. And this year, we've continued with it. And last Saturday, folks, we had our second annual Voices of the Millennials Youth Summit, which was hosted by Elle, Lyon and Gwen Chapman. It was quite an event. It was an improvement over the last years, because if you're doing something and then you don't improve upon it, you might as well not do it. And it was captivating. And this year we had some young people out there, great speakers, who enthralled us with their wisdom. And I hope and pray that we come back again next year, God willing. But we are going to introduce a young man who was a recipient of the scholarships. And I'm bringing him up to par. So, folks, I'm taking this opportunity to welcome Tyrese Hawthorne. Hi, Tyrese, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's nice to see you again, man.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yes, yes, yes. We met last Saturday,
Yes, we did.
and just as I was just about to leave, you
Mm-hmm.
were leaving with your mom. And
Yes.
I remember asking you whether you like to be on radio. It was just a quick
Yeah.
sort of conversation, and I just had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
And to the people who are watching us from around the globe, and to those of you out there who are listening to us via Love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, this is Tyrese. Tyrese, you
Mm-hmm.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, once again, nice to get to speak to you, especially such a very intimate setting. And uh, as you all know, my name is Tyrese Hawthorne. I am 23 years old. As of right now, I'm currently studying at York University for Human Rights and Equity Studies, and that will be leading into my master's degree for social work. And I was one of the lucky young millennials to get a scholarship from this wonderful station. So once again, I do appreciate it, and it was a good time on Saturday. So yeah.
Yeah, it was such a great time. And when I saw the environment, we were going back and forth. When I saw the environment, yes,
Mhm.
we were the organizers, and at the same time, we
Mhm.
were also engaged somewhere. We had two
Uh,
things going at the same time.
mhm.
The station was also interviewing the Prime Minister of Canada, so we had to be going back and forth.
Yeah,
So it was, and then anytime that we returned, the place was
yeah,
captivating. It was so great,
yeah.
and we also appreciate you taking part with respect to the qualification structures. And
Mhm.
then you wrote about when we asked everybody to write about
Mhm.
uh, volunteerism and stuff like that. You wrote it was really, really good.
Thank you.
How
Thank
did
you.
it come about that?
So when I was writing, I kind of wanted the format of it to sound like I was actually speaking to you guys. I didn't want it to be, I guess, in a way, yes, it was an essay format, but at the same time, I spoke in the mannerisms of kind of like I was sitting here with you and you were able to read it in such a way. The things that I actually put inside that essay, they came from the heart, and I wanted you guys to know that with everything that I've been through in life, it led me to this point. And I guess the reason why I am sitting here today and was able to sit there on Saturday and have my name called was just because I was able to put it all together and let you guys understand a little bit more about me. So, yeah.
Yeah, you wrote a very nice, a great essay. In fact, as a matter of fact, to me personally, it was one of the best.
Thank you.
I'm afraid,
Appreciate
yes. Uh, Part of what you wrote, he said, I found myself helping my community by creating opportunities through basketball.
it. Mhm.
That is my favorite thing. It
Yeah.
is what kept me going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you give us why you came out with it? Because we're going to have a very nice conversation here.
All right.
The
So
question, please.
basically, to touch on that, I've been playing basketball for quite some time. And I've also been able to help the community through organizations and ones that I've volunteered for, ones that I've actually worked for, some being like Gators basketball and things of that sort. And basically, the way I was able to help the community is through coaching and development. I guess also being somewhat of a mentor for certain youth. a lot of youth love to play sports and don't really get the opportunity, and it kind of weighs on you because at the same time I once knew how that felt, and it's the worst feeling to like go to a tryout, get like that close, and like the reason why you can't play is for extenuating circumstances out of your control, but knowing that you have the skill to do so is it's what keeps you going. So I kind of took it upon myself with the help of a friend to continue to develop, train, mentor youth from like grade 9 till grade 12, even help some college players. And, they have great development already. So, I don't got to do too much there. But um, realistically, just helping the young guys understand that life's a journey, and some of the skills that we teach you on the court, you can also use off the court. Things like discipline, time, understanding certain concepts, and making sure to be able to analyze critically. So we took it on ourselves very heavily because we love the sport and we also love to help the youth continue to grow in their young journey. So yeah.
Great stuff in it, because you know what, within our community,
Mhm.
we haven't had a chance to sort of lean on each other. I think the community has got to come around um, young people like you who
Mhm.
taking upon yourself to sort of help, like
Yeah.
with what you just indicated. I
Mhm.
mean, that is what we need within the community,
Yeah.
because it's not all about like you were teaching basketball,
Yeah.
you were playing it, and at the same time, to your education too was
Mhm.
also supreme.
Mhm.
And how did you balance it out? And how did you do that?
So for me, the basketball and then the balance of helping out the youth came from realistically managing my time as much as I could. I knew from a certain time to a certain time I had school, and then what I could give to basketball and helping those youth. And then a lot of my summer was spent in those camps and those communities, teaching and just gaining as much knowledge from coaches that I could take and bring back to others. So I think a lot of the time that I spent was usually after school. I do want to reiterate, make sure to get your schoolwork done first. I want to make sure um,
Definitely.
that is out the way, and then you go from there. But for me, it was getting the schoolwork done, and then knowing that, all right, from 7 till 9, I have to go to practice, make sure that they're good, and then the first thing that I would ask when I got in the gym was, "Is your homework done?" A lot of them,
That's right.
a lot of them would say no, and
Mm,
then I would have to be like, "All right, so we're not starting practice
that's
until we at least get a couple questions done." But I have a lot of kids come up to me now and say like, "I learned a lot from you, and I took it, and it's made me a better person." So, whenever you get those type of compliments and I guess those type of reactions, especially years down the line, it's like it really did pay off, and I'm glad to see it.
awesome, awesome. And
Mhm.
then you've indicated you taking what are the courses that you're taking? Tell listeners about it.
So as of right now, I am in York University taking human rights and equity studies, and that will lead into my social work course.
Okay. Why did you take human rights?
I'm gonna be very honest. Just I'm gonna be, as I said again, very
Go
honest.
for it. Go for it.
I was in grade 12, didn't know what I wanted to take, and I was like, all right, so I have a couple options in my head, but I'm thinking about taking this and that, and I went with social work because I did really like to help people. So I knew that there was a lot of social issues that needed to be touched on and needed to be changed. And I'm only one human being, but at least I'm another human being trying to help these situations. So I went full throttle into social work, and then I got into my human rights and equity studies. And then after this year, or sorry, next year, I'll be going into social work again for my master's degree. And then I will be continuing my journey into the workforce. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's go back to this. I'm I'm very, very interested in
Yeah. Yeah.
the area of the human rights.
Yes. Yes.
Why human rights?
Well, um, as the title states, we all have human rights, and
Yeah, of course.
for sure, right? So, to see some of the things that are happening within our world and to see some of the things that happen on a daily basis, like what you turn on the TV and you just see some of the most wretched and horrible things, it's terrifying. It sucks. And to know that, it, we're getting to that place where it's getting scarier and scarier day by day, and you just want to make a difference in any way possible that you can. You may not be the next prime minister, you may not be somebody high up in a high ranking position, but it's the little things that we do that continue to show that we do have some sort of humanity towards to humans. So, mankind, I feel, needs to make a change for the better. And as you said, a lot of people don't really step in for the community, and we really do need to do more of that. And that's the reason why I took human rights and equity studies, to understand more about human rights and what is justified as human rights and where it can also lead. And how can we make change from here in another country, or just here alone, there's so much going on. So, um, it really interested me, and I don't regret taking it whatsoever. So,
No, no, not at all. No, not at all. What
yeah.
about the equity aspects of it?
Well, the equity aspect is like, I find myself looking at it from a standpoint where it's what more can we do to be able to give people more equitable of a life. Like, are we able to have more housing? Are we able to get impoverished neighborhoods out of the poverty? Are we able to create more jobs, create more opportunities for people of color, people who don't have such great resources? What are the little things that we can do, and who can we speak to make these things happen on a more frequent basis, and not just on a level of it's only in the news for like two, and then it just disappears and it goes away. So, that's where I hope that we get more equity out of it and continue to level up as a society. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand where I can understand that line.
Yeah.
And then you're also saying that you hope to go and do your masters in social,
Yes. Yes, I do.
and with that,
Hmm.
where I mean,
Where speak
go
on
ahead.
more?
Hmm?
Yeah. So well, for me, the master's aspect of it is, I'm someone that loves to learn. I will admit that. I in any way, shape, and form that I can continue my education, I will do so. So, I will admit to all the young people watching this, I will not go as far as my PhD because I cannot take any more school my master's degree, but I will say that, continue to learn, and that's the biggest reason why I'm staying in school and making sure to get to that master's is, one, make mom proud, two, make myself proud,
Mhm.
and three, just continue to gain as much knowledge on how I can continue to help other people. And that goes for anything, really. Whatever you're studying, try and go as far as possible because it only benefits you, and it only helps you in the long run. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's one thing that you wrote
Mhm.
that's very very interesting to me.
Yeah.
You said, "I'm no scholar student.
Hmm.
I'm not the smartest in the room.
Hmm.
I'm truly just blessed.
Yeah.
I thank God every day for
Mhm.
what He has granted me the
Mhm.
chance to do for other youth through basketball and helping me succeed in my studies."
Mhm.
Hmm, very
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah. Um, I wanted to speak on that. My mom raised me up in church from a very young age, and
Amen.
yes, amen to that. Um, she raised me up in church from a very young age, always making sure that I was in Bible study, making sure that I was in youth groups, and I've always had God in my life, and I always knew that He was there. And even when I was deciding between the social work and the human rights and equity studies, I still remember this. I sat down and I prayed about it, and I was like, whichever decision you want me to do, I'll do. And that's just not even for that alone. Through a lot of things that I do in my life, I leave it to God and I say, I pray and I let him know I believe wholeheartedly in what you have for me. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And if I'm meant to go do this certain thing at this point in time in my life, then let's do it. I'm full on board. And he always guides me the right way, the right path. And that's the reason why I put that there, is because every word that you just read, I truly do believe, and I truly am just blessed to be where I am today.
So, folks listening to us, we are Love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. Those of us, those of you listening to us by radio, yes, this Love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean online radio. And those of you watching us live on YouTube, StreamYard, LinkedIn, Facebook, yes, we have a special guest, a scholarship recipient, Tyrese Hawthorne. And Tyrese was he was gracious when he accepted his scholarship this past Saturday at the Voices of the Millennials Youth Summit that was organized by Love the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio 2023. And we are having a conversation with him, and he's shedding some gems right here that I'm interested in. There's one point that you also said. Everything I do, you're talking about the youth. Or the kids. So everything I do for them and for a business, I'm creating around helping youth in underprivileged neighborhoods to get a chance to play not only basketball, but other sports. It's what I really care about.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely.
Because I'm saying interesting because when I was growing up back home in Africa, specifically Ghana, as parents, even from the Caribbean and the continent, back in the day, I think today too, everybody wants their kids to be either a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, what have you. But then, you see, if I come to look at it back in the day, or even right now, or parents who are listening, if your child has a talent, God-given talent, please don't suppress it. Because we all cannot be doctors. We all cannot be mechanics. We all cannot be anything. Because if a doctor's car breaks down, and we are all doctors, who's going to fix that?
For sure.
Right? So we have to be able to give the kids, the children, the young people, the chance to develop their talents. Because we've come through so many situations where during the COVID, we went to pay some bills. I would say I went to pay some bills, and then there was a young lady who was standing behind the counter at one of these telephone companies. And she came out from behind the counter to help two elderly women of African descent. She came out, and I was watching her, and I said, damn, she must be from a very great home, because the lineup was so long. And then I took her number and called her to bring her on the phone, because I saw something in her. And then during the conversation, when I called her up later on, as a matter of fact, she was a forest. She was involved in forest exchange, and she was doing so many different things. And she said, "You know what? I'm a young person. Anytime that my parents were traveling, they told me I'm going to change some money into American dollars or US dollars or whatever." So she was kind of, why? Why is that? So she researched into it, and when she found out that there could be a business in it, then she opened up to another person who said, yes, you can do it. I'll be able to help you. So they set it up. Now She has a forest exchange company,
Wow.
right? She,
Awesome.
right now, Abigail, if you're listening, Abigail is about 26, 25, 26.
Hmm.
And then it didn't end there. So we
Mm.
we invited her on Love Day Radio
Yeah.
to have a conversation. That's like how we are having a conversation on a different program.
Hmm.
And she was so knowledgeable with respect to what she was talking about. You know
Yeah.
what happened? We
Hmm.
got calls from Australia, New Zealand,
Wow.
Germany, Austria, the United Kingdom, from
Dang.
Netherlands. We got calls that they wanted to do business with her.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's right. So this is how we are. We say that brighten the corner where you are. So no matter what you do, you have to do it good.
Hmm.
As a young person, like how you're sharing your perspective with respect to your development, somebody out there will be taking a cue from you. Because you see, at the end of the day, we just cannot say that millennials don't try. Millennials try.
Hmm. Definitely.
Millennials try as much as possible that they can.
Mhm.
The pressure is too strong right now, I know.
Definitely.
Because there are some millennials who are working.
Hmm.
In today's world, in Toronto, for instance,
Yeah.
you need some moolah to be able to survive,
Definitely.
right? So
Hmm.
I mean, your situation and what you've said
Hmm.
says it all. Um, you're saying that you're creating a room or an arena or a situation where underprivileged kids from neighborhoods will get to play basketball and other sports. Why
Yeah.
did you come up with that?
Well, it basically touches on what I spoke about before. Now, my own experiences and seeing what's going on right now. I want to create something where it's accessible to other children, it's accessible to other youth for these opportunities. Like before, I couldn't have these opportunities because my parents also went through it, and I understood that there's certain things that have to be sacrificed. But at the end of the day, I knew that okay, one day I'm gonna make sure someone doesn't feel how that feels to happen. So I'm still working out the kinks. I'm still making sure to get everything up and running. But one day, hopefully next year, actually, I will have that going up and really helping out the community to the best of its ability. And I'm very excited. I have my team of people, me and a couple close people that I have known for some time, and we all have the same mindset. So I think that it'll work out just great, and hopefully one day I can come back on Love Day and say,
Of course, of
you know,
course,
that,
of course, of course.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
of course. And then there's one thing that I see about you. You're very humble.
yeah,
And now let's go to the event itself.
yes,
It was well attended,
yes.
and great speakers came out. What
Mhm.
did you take out of with all the speakers? Who
Mm,
impressed you? I know all of them may have impressed you, but
yeah.
one of them may have impressed you also.
To be very honest, congratulations to all the other people that got scholarships and awards. Secondly, thank you to everybody who spoke. It was awesome to hear you guys. But the one person, or the one, yeah, sorry, the one person that actually stood out, about a 10-year-old boy.
Oh yes,
Yes,
oh yes, yes.
10-year-old boy came out there with charisma, spice. Just he took over everything. It was absolutely perfect. He came out there confident, stood in front of everybody, wasn't shy, said what he had to say, and he got it across, made his point, didn't even hesitate, nothing left unsaid. That made me stand up and give him a round of applause, because at that age, to be able to stand in front of all these people and just speak with so much oomph in your voice and know that I know what I'm talking about, I'm confident, It was magnificent. It was absolutely magnificent. Couldn't believe it.
Was it incredible? He brought the whole house down
Yeah,
at
definitely.
10 years.
Yeah.
And it got to a point, I think he was being asked to cut it short. Because the young man was so impressive,
Hmm.
and everybody was saying, where is this kid? What is it? What is he doing? Where
Yeah.
did he come from?
Yeah.
An old man in a young boy's body.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Yes, he was very, very, very impressive indeed. And I think also
Hmm.
George was also
Hmm.
great in his presentation.
For sure. For
Yeah,
sure. Hmm.
because you see, the whole idea of the Voices of the Millennials is to bring these speakers to inspire.
Yeah.
Because we were looking out for to see um, Tracy, Unstoppable Tracy, but unfortunately,
Hmm.
she wasn't feeling well.
Hmm.
Right? She does everything. So to go back to it, the reason why we bring all these speakers is they have gone through certain things. And once you hear, like somebody like George, who's visually impaired,
Yeah. Yeah.
who can run, who
Yeah.
has won gold medals for this country,
Exactly. That
and
was.
if he can do it,
Hmm.
why not the other person?
Definitely.
If he can do it. And for Tracy, if Tracy had shown up, Tracy is a quadruple amputee. She does skydiving. She does so many things. Last year she was there. She
Hmm.
really blew the whole place up. That is the whole idea, that the youth within our community and without or beyond, we shouldn't look at it this way, that all else has failed, so we cannot do anything.
Yeah.
What I always say is that if somebody, if you are a young person out there and you have ideas, you want to do something. Sometimes a lot of people say, well, I don't want to go and bother that person or bother that person. You see, if you're a young person out there listening to me right now, if you have an idea, if you want to do something and then all else is seems to elude you, there
Hmm.
are people around. Speak to somebody. There's a little voice out there for you to be able to, say, okay, this voice is telling me that I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And don't suppress your talent at all. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And it went the other way.
Yeah.
And today I'm behind the mic.
Yeah.
I'm a musician, I'm an artist,
Awesome.
I'm a Juno Award artist. And also, we run a food bank. Love Afrobeat also run a food bank. We
Yeah.
also always need people to help, and we have to help the community.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back to what you said about helping create an environment,
Yeah.
suitable for the underprivileged kids in the neighborhoods. So
Hmm.
what you said resonates well with me. Any
Hmm.
thought on that?
Um, about the helping the youth in the neighborhood.
Yes, yeah, it's very, very important to me.
Um, to speak on that, there's a lot of youth that are going through things that may not speak up. And you go to these neighborhoods, you see how things are going down. And I am personally not one to step into people's business, but if, like, I'm coaching a youth or I'm speaking to a certain person and they say, hey Tyrese, I'm going through this right now, what are your thoughts? I'll give them my honest opinions, and I'll also let them know, hey, here's my number. You can call me at any time, and we'll have that conversation, and I'll continue to check in with you. But in terms of how we can help in these neighborhoods, it's just to really be there for the young people and let them know that everything's gonna be okay. Our young adolescent minds aren't understanding that these might be the growing years where things can only go up from there, get better. And when you have so much going on at one time and it feels like life is just taking you down, you don't really get to see the beauty of how far you've actually come. So I always try to remember and always try to let other people know it's a journey. And that's a big thing that was actually said on Saturday is life is a journey. And, it has its ups and downs, but it always seems to come back up. So um, it gets better. It definitely gets better. And that's why I do my best to remind that to the youth that it always does get better.
Yeah, it certainly. Sometimes it's like our fingers are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Life is not in a straight line. There are valleys and mountains out there.
Yeah.
So, like, I see so many young people out there, and some of them. Sometimes when I'm driving around or I always stop if I see a young person. I always want to talk to a young
Yeah,
person.
definitely.
Yes, and again, this is why we've also created this platform
Mm-hmm.
so that we can get a lot more youth onto this station
Definitely.
because we want to introduce a lot of them. We don't have any platform where we can go
Mm-hmm.
out there and say, okay, this is our platform where we can talk. We started it as a very small radio station. Originally, it was supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
a music, only music, playing
Oh,
music. When
okay.
it was started, when we started,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you the reason why this station was there was that when we won the Juno,
Mm-hmm.
a friend of mine took my
Mm-hmm.
CDs, and then he took it to a radio station. He never told me which radio station it was. That's okay. He
Okay.
knew the DJ, gave the DJ the CD. He says, when he was turning around to tell the DJ, to ask the DJ, when are you going to play this? He says, he saw him fling the CD, right? Whether it was into the garbage or whatever, that's not my problem.
For sure.
Yeah, he told me 2 years after,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't angry. I wasn't angry at all, but I used lemon to make lemonade.
For sure.
That's why I never give up,
Mm-hmm.
and I never gave up. I never give up.
Yeah.
So this radio station was created
Mm-hmm.
because we don't, as a people, don't have any platform.
Yeah. That's right.
We have to build the infrastructure
Mm-hmm.
to be able to make ourselves known or heard.
Yeah.
As I always say, we have stories to tell,
Always.
right? If you have a story and you don't tell the story yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you get someone else to tell the story for you, it becomes his story, not your story.
Definitely.
And if you break it down, if I tell you right now, go and tell the other person that oh, that person is cute, you add one word,
Mm-hmm.
but that will not be what I told you.
Yeah.
I should be able to go out there and then tell my story, just like you're telling your story now. Some kid somewhere, not only in Canada, because a lot of countries are listening to us right now.
Yeah.
They're taking a cue from what you just said. So, what advice would you give them
Mm-hmm.
if the person is going to either go to college
Mm-hmm.
or want to do plumbing, just like DeAndre, who was also a recipient, said,
Yeah.
the avenue is there for me to go to university or college, and I
Mm-hmm.
won't do that. I
Yeah.
want to help my mother
Yeah.
by going to a plumbing school. That was great,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
right? So, what advice would you give some young people somewhere, maybe in Afghanistan or Pakistan or somewhere, in
Mm-hmm.
Africa or Caribbean or even in Toronto here? What advice would you give them with respect to your upbringing
Mm-hmm.
and where you sit right now? The floor is yours, please.
Okay. So for me, the advice that I would give to all of the young people would be two things. One, always thank God for your blessings.
Amen.
Always, always remember that He is leading you down a path, and your path may not be the same as my path or your path, but it's your story, as you said. And through the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations, take it, learn from it, and become better. Not everything that happens in life is a downward spiral, and if you learn something from those moments that continue, you can take something from it and know for the next time what not to do or what next to do. So whatever God throws at you, learn from that, and make sure that you take it in and soak in the moment. My second thing would be to kind of revert back to what you were speaking about in the beginning, which was the age of the internet. With all of us growing up in the age of the internet, we see a lot of these social media, I guess you can say, gimmicks, where it makes it seem like a lot of people are ahead than what they truly are. And my biggest advice that I can give to anybody in and my age group or younger is don't compare yourself. You know, you have your own path, you have your own journey. It may not be linear like some people, it may not be a left, right, it could go back, it could come forward, or whatever the case may be. But don't compare your life to someone else because someone else is ahead of you. If your time is when you're 26, 27, 30, 40, who cares? Just don't compare and enjoy what you have because it'll drive you insane. Be who you are and let that journey be a journey for you. Don't compare it to anybody else and know that you stand alone as a human being and you're going to do great things. We're all meant to do something on this earth, and once we find what we're meant to do and we really embrace it, it's beyond what anybody can imagine. So I'm still looking for it myself. I definitely am, but I know that when my time comes, it'll be a wonderful feeling. And once again, I'll give it all to God and continue from there.
Yeah, you cannot count out God because he I don't know, incredible, incredible.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning and you touch, you squeeze your skin and it hurts. It means you are alive because you know what? Not a lot of people have been lucky from the time that they woke up or I woke up, guesstimatedly, say around 6 o'clock up to now. Millions have perished.
Mm-hmm.
Millions have gotten into certain situations that wasn't there
Mm-hmm.
when they woke up.
Yeah,
But we always have to look up and then thank God for whatever you know is giving us.
definitely.
Um, after your masters,
Yes, sir.
what next?
It's a great question.
It's loaded, eh?
It's a loaded question for sure. Um, After my master's, I think I'm gonna just take it one step at a time. If it means that I end up working for an organization that continues to work with children and youth, or if it means that I am somewhere working in the field for doing casework or development with families and stuff like that, or I could be running my own organization and that there could be programs for youth to come after school and play basketball and other sports. I have so many ideas in my head.
Put
So
them down, write them down. You got to write them down. You got to write them down so that you don't miss anything.
definitely.
You know.
As I said, the honest truth is I don't know what's in store. I just know that I take it one step at a time, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just gonna continue to try my best at all that I can do, and
Hmm.
I will be satisfied with whatever the outcome is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And with the kids that you've been
Hmm.
training, do you inculcate into them
Hmm.
the sense of volunteerism,
Yep.
the sense of camaraderie,
Hmm.
the sense of helping out, um, the sense of being part or a part of the community that we live in? Because in
Hmm.
our community, there are a lot of things that we don't talk about.
Definitely.
Mental health.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we don't do that. Do
Mhm.
you? I mean, your take on the statement that I just made.
So
Well,
for the statement that you just made, I do encourage them to help out in any way they can. I know that in a lot of Canadian high schools, actually every Canadian high school, and even when I was in high school, we had to go get our 40 hours, and then you don't do it again. You just leave it alone. But if there's one thing I can say, and that I've told other people, is continue to help out. It's not for the 40 hours, or it's not when your family says you have to do so. This type of stuff needs to be done consistently to show change, to make change happen. So whether it's going to your local food bank, whether it's picking up hours at your local thrift store, or just handing out meals, whatever it may be, it's always something that can be done to make the community become one. And right now we work in very a system of class, high class, middle class, lower class, and if we live in this class system and we continue not to try, then who is going to try? Or who is going to say, just because you're middle class doesn't mean you can help out lower class, or whatever it may be. We're all human beings. Once you take away the class system, there is just flesh and bone, and we're all breathing the same air. So why can't we help each other? And that's what I tried to instill in these youth. We got to do our best. And I'm helping you by teaching you. You take what I'm teaching you, and you take your own experiences, and we do it again, and make someone else that's younger than you learn from you, and we just continue the cycle. So that's what's the most important.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Mhm.
It's folks. You are listening to the Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. The program is Voices of the Millennium, and I'm sitting in for Elle Lyon. Elle is on vacation right now, and then we are having a very great conversation with Therese Houghton.
Yes.
Yes, a recipient of the Voices of the Millennials
Yeah.
Youth Summit Scholarship. And we were so happy to have him here, and then for him to be sharing his experience, life's experience, and all those kind of stuff. And I think I'm learning a lot
Yeah.
about you.
Yeah.
When it comes to volunteerism,
Mhm.
I have done it. One day,
Mhm.
I was driving on Western Road
Yeah.
one cold, blistering winter day,
Mhm.
and I saw this old man, and he was holding two bags,
Mhm.
and he slipped, and I stopped, and I said, sir, can I help you? He said, oh, I'm fine.
Mhm.
And I drove, and then went and parked, and I was watching him. He slipped again. I went back again. I said, can I help you, please? He
Mhm.
says, okay. I said, where are you going? He says, oh, I'm going down the street. I said, can I give you a ride? He said, sure, son. I took him in there. When
Mhm.
we went in, I brought everything upstairs for him,
That's
and he
nice.
came around and says, here. And I said, no,
Mhm.
it's not an hour of kindness that I did, but I see you as a senior,
Mhm.
and I have to help. Even if you are not a senior and I can help,
Yeah.
I've got to do that. And that's why I did what I had to do.
Mhm.
Would you believe I God works in mysterious ways?
Mhm.
After I left him, I was just going, and a cop stopped me. He said I was speeding. I wasn't speeding.
Mhm.
Two police cruisers came around, and I wanted to know what I had done wrong.
Yeah.
But one of them had parked his car, his cruiser somewhere. He saw what was going on, and he came out and spoke to somebody. And
Mhm.
the old man at that time was also coming out.
Mhm.
He was my savior. The other police officer was also my savior,
Yeah.
right? So whatever you do, this is what I'm trying to say. Whatever you do, there's a consequence, good and a bad.
Yeah.
But never, ever, 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 ever forget that, you know what? At the end of the day, the
Mhm.
one and the same people help if you can. There
Def-
is any last comment for any young person or any adult out there? Because you are throwing some
Yeah.
gems left, right, and center out there.
Um, I think the last thing that I can say is just once again enjoy life, try your best, and um, give it all to God. I've reiterated these things many times. I know people are probably sick of hearing me say it, but
That's all right.
those are the three things that I definitely would say. And I honestly can say that the journey never ends, and that's coming from a young person. So please, please, please just enjoy what you have and never stop. Never stop trying. Definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. Teresa, it's been a pleasure having
Thank
you on Love Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. I
you.
hope this is not a hello and bye.
No, not at
Come
all.
back again.
Oh, I definitely will be back. I
That's
promise.
right. You
Yeah,
promise?
I
A
promise.
lot of people are going to take you on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a man of my word. So I promise for sure.
Okay. Thank you, folks. We've come to the end of this program. Sitting in for Elle the Lion, my name is DJ TYB. The place to be. We hope to see you again in 7 days. Coming up, success is the new sexy. With Bella the Beauty Box. Bella, yes, Bella, the Beauty Boss. She's coming in within a couple of minutes. So don't go away. And today's topic is going to be how to beat the competition. She gives you all the tips in business. Until then, bye bye.